Hello guys, welcome back again to my segment, and my name is Teacher Darrell, and today we'll talk about verb tense in the reported clause. Okay, so commonly when we do report speech, somehow the tenses are changed. So in today's lesson about grammar, I will try to discuss about what are the rules that we should follow whenever we want to change the tenses in reported speech. Okay, now are you ready? Okay, so this time let us begin. Mhm. Okay, now before we proceed to those tenses, let's review first the structure for reported speech. Okay, yesterday I discussed this already, but we will try to review this one more time. So, when we for the structures for reported speech, remember it has two clauses. The first one we call it one as reporting speech, and the other or the second part or the last part of the sentence we call it one as reported clause. Okay, so it means the first one is reporting clause, and the second one is the reported clause. And remember, when we say clause, this is like a sentence that contains both subject and verb. So it means in each clause in the reported speech has both subject and verb. So, okay, so that's for our structure. Okay, keep in mind our structure because it's really important to remember this one. And now, how about, okay, this time, let's go now with the verb. So commonly, for the verbs in the reported speech, sometimes they're changing, right? Okay, so we need to make sure, or we need to be careful with the verbs that we use whenever we want to change the forms of the verb in the reported speech. But commonly, most of the verbs in the reporting clause are always expressed in simple past. So commonly, the verbs that we can see in the reporting clause are always expressed in simple past. All of them actually. So all of them, they don't change. So it means they are all in simple past verb. Here, for example, we have the reported speech. She explained that she couldn't take the job until January. So in this sentence, we have the reporting clause as she explained, and our verb there is explained, right? Okay, so it means the word explained there, or the verb there, it is in a simple past only. So it's only in simple past. It's quite easy to remember, right? And here for our second sentence, he didn't tell me where I could put this. So here in the reporting clause, we have didn't tell. Didn't tell here is also expressed in simple past. So as you notice, the report the verbs for the reporting clause, they just follow one verb form, and that is only in simple past. Okay, so keep it in mind. How about for the verbs in the reported clause? Now, in this part, it will become more confusing. So commonly for the verbs in the verb tenses in the reported clauses sometimes are different from one another, and somehow the tenses depend on the direct speech of the verb, direct speech of the sentence commonly. Okay, and we will dwell on it more as we continue our lesson. So here, for the first one, we use simple past tense in the reported speech. Remember, reported speech. So reported speech again can be found in the last. Reported speech, I mean, is a way to tell what a person has said, and then past tense reported speech when the verb in direct speech is expressed in simple present form. Okay, so here, so if you said here, we have the direct speech here. I don't want anything to eat. In our sentence here, the word don't want is in simple present. Okay, so if we want to change this into reported speech, you can say like Yusuf said that he didn't want anything to eat. So in our sentence here, we have from don't want, it becomes didn't want in the sentence. So you can see there's a transition from a simple present from direct speech to simple past in reported speech of the verbs. That's why keep in mind with that. And commonly there is a change happening in the reported clause of our reported speech. But remember here, the verbs here or the verb here in our reported speech, especially in the reporting clause, it is always in simple past. Okay, so keep that in mind. Remember again, the verb in the reporting speech is always in simple past. Always. And for our second example, we have the direct speech here. I always drink coffee. So drink here again is also in simple present form of the verb. And if you want to change this into reported speech, we can say she said, or we have said it here again. So said here is also in simple past. For the reporting speech, reporting clause, she said that she always drank coffee. Now from drink, it becomes drank. So we express it into simple past form of the verb in the reported clause. Okay, get it? Okay. Now, another rule. We use past continuous in the reported speech when the verb in direct speech is expressed in the present continuous form. So if your verb is in the direct speech is expressed in the present continuous form, so when we say present continuous form, we use be verb plus verb ing, and this be verb we use is or are in our sentence, or am of course sometimes in our sentence. So am is are followed by verb ing, so we call it one as present continuous. So if your verb again in the direct speech is expressed in present continuous, then we need to change that verb into past continuous when we do our reported speech. So here for example, the first one, I am reading a book. For the word here, our verb here is am reading, right? So this is expressed in present continuous. Now we will change that into past continuous in reported speech. So we can say, he explained that he was reading a book. Now here, from am reading, it become was reading. So guys, be careful. Whenever you want to check the be verb of your continuous tense, you need to make sure that this be verb is also connected, or sometimes it follows the rule of subject verb agreement. So if our subject here is he, she, it, okay, we can use here was for the past form. But if our subject here is they, we, and if it's plural, then we can use were for the past continuous form of the verb. And if it's I, then we also use was if it's I for the past continuous form. And for our next example, we have Mary is taking a nap. So right now, Mary is taking a nap. So someone says this one, and she is taking a nap. And if you want to change this into reported speech, we can say, she told me that she was taking a nap. Okay, it means maybe someone told me, oh, she told me that she was taking a nap. Oh, okay. So here, if you notice, we have she here. It becomes was because she is only one. So we use was here for our be verb. Now, that's for the past continuous form of the verb. Remember, we use past continuous in the reported speech when the verb in direct speech is expressed in present continuous form. Okay, this is quite easy, right? Next one. Here we use past perfect. Oh, this time it's past perfect. So when you say past perfect, guys, this it means we use had, pp. Okay, had plus past participle of the verb. So we use past perfect in the reported speech when the verb in direct speech is expressed in simple past form. Oh, okay. So if your verb in direct speech is expressed in simple past form, then we need to use past perfect verb in the reported speech. Because somehow there's like a really big transition, right, from the simple past going to past perfect form of the verb in the reported speech. So we can say here, for example, Billy arrived on Saturday. So arrived here, it is expressed in simple past. Then if we change that into report speech, we can say he said that Bill had arrived on Saturday. So we had the word had and arrived, and this is expressed in past perfect form of the verb in reported speech. And for the second example, we have Kelly took the exam. So took here is also the past form of take. So took is our took is a verb in our direct speech. And if we want to report this exact statement to someone by using reported speech, then we can say John told me that Kelly had taken the exam. So we can say here maybe John. Okay, so maybe John is the one who told me, and then I wanted to report it to some to other people. So I can say that, oh, John told me that Kelly had taken the exam. So from took, it becomes had taken. So again, if your direct speech is in simple past form, then we can change that into past perfect in our reported speech. Next one. Here we use past perfect. Oh, it's also past perfect. So here we use past perfect in the reported speech when the verb in the direct speech is expressed in present perfect. Oh, so here we have the same pattern. So it's still past perfect here. We use past perfect. Oh wait. Okay, here. So here, still we use past perfect if the verb in direct speech is simple past, and also we still use past perfect if the verb in the direct speech is expressed in present perfect form. Okay, so it means if the verb in the direct speech is expressed in present perfect form, then we need to change that into past perfect if we want to do reported speech. So, oh, this is quite, they had the same rule in the previous one, but here the direct speech is in simple past, but now here direct speech is in present perfect. But if you want to change present perfect and simple past of the direct speech, we need to use past perfect for these two verbs in the direct speech. Here, for example, I have been to Spain. So this one, it is expressed in present perfect form because we use have pp, and for our present perfect form we use has and have pp of the verb. And if we want to change that into reported speech, we can say he told me that he had been to Spain. So from have been, it becomes had been in the reported speech. So it's kind of easy, right? And here, under example, I have eaten my lunch. Okay, and if you want to change this into reported speech, we can say she mentioned that she had eaten her lunch. From have eaten, it becomes had eaten in reported speech. It's quite easy, right? Because we just follow the pp form of the verb. From present perfect form in direct speech, it becomes now past perfect form in reported speech. Okay, but remember, keep in mind that we use past perfect again if our direct speech is expressed in both simple past and also in present perfect form. Next one. Oh, still the same. It's past perfect. So we maintain the usage of past perfect in the reported speech when the verb in direct speech is expressed in past perfect form. Okay, so if someone said if their verb is in past perfect, then if you want to do reported speech, it can be also again in past perfect form. So it means it doesn't change their form whenever we do direct speech. Okay, so for example, we have I had just turned out the light. So this one is expressed in direct speech, right? Had PP. And if you want to do reported speech, okay, we don't change the verb. It still remains the same. So this verb is still expressed in past perfect form. So we can say he explained that he had just turned out the light. So it's the same, right? It's quite easy for past perfect. Nothing has changed. And here for direct speech, I had another example again. I had finished reading the book. So had finished. This again is in past perfect. Then in reported speech, we can say Cliff told me that he had finished reading the book. Oh, the same. Nothing has changed. Okay. Here, another rule. We use past perfect continuous in the reported speech when the verb in the direct speech is expressed in present perfect continuous form. So if our direct speech again is expressed in present perfect continuous, when we say present perfect continuous, we use has, have, been, verb ing of the verb. Okay, that's a pattern for present perfect continuous. So express an action that is happening from the past until now. So we say present perfect continuous. And remember, if the verb is in present perfect continuous, then if you want to change that into reported speech, then we need to make it into past perfect continuous. So we can say, we have been waiting for hours. So this is expressed in direct speech. And if you want to change this into reported speech, we can say, they complained that they had been waiting for hours. From the word had been waiting, it becomes now had been waiting. So from have, it becomes had in reported speech. And another example, she has been sleeping for 9 hours. So we have here has. And if you want to do reported speech, now we can say, he insisted that she had been sleeping for 9 hours. So this one, it changed the form from present perfect continuous. Now it becomes past perfect continuous of the verb in reported speech. Next one, we use past perfect continuous in the reported speech when the verb in direct speech is expressed in present perfect continuous and past continuous form. Now this time, for we use past perfect continuous whenever the verbs in our direct speech is expressed in both present perfect continuous and past continuous of our verbs. So again, when you say present perfect continuous, we use has, have, been, verb ing, and for past continuous, we use be verb of the past like was or were, and followed by a verb ing. Okay, and if your direct speech are expressed in those mentioned verbs, then we need to change those verbs into past perfect continuous in reported speech. For example, we have been waiting for hours. Oh, it's the same. Okay, it's kind of the same here. We have been waiting for hours, and for reported speech again, they complained that they have been waiting for hours. For their speech, we were living in Paris. Oh, we have the word living here. We were living in Paris. So for living, it is in past continuous. So it's happening, maybe it was happening in the past. And if you want to change that into reported speech, we can say they told me that they had been living in Paris. So yeah, it's quite easy, right? Okay, but remember, don't be confused because sometimes for the present past perfect continuous, sometimes they express this form. That's why if the actions are happening in the past and if it's happening in the present perfect form, then if you want to change that into reported speech, then we can use past perfect continuous of the verb. And next one. Here, we use present conditional in the reported speech when the verb in direct speech is expressed in future form. So here, if your direct speech again is in future, like we use will, yeah, commonly it's will. So we use present conditional of the verb in reported speech. So when we say present conditional, here it means that the action is not real or is not yet happening. So remember, we want to report an action that is not yet happening. So we need to use present conditional form of the verb in the reported speech. So the pattern here for present conditional is would plus base form of the verb. So if we use that in our sentence, then we we express the present conditional form of the verb. For example, I will be in Geneva on Monday. Remember, it's Monday and today is Friday. So maybe someone told me that I will be in Geneva on Monday, I said. And then my friend told other people that he wanted to repeat what I said, but in a report way. So he can say, "Oh, he said that he would be in Geneva on Monday." So as you notice here, from will it becomes would. But remember, the be there remains the same. So sometimes we don't change the base form of the verb after will or would. And another example, we will go to a resort tomorrow. Okay, we'll go. So today, tomorrow will happen. Tomorrow, of course, after this day. So this action is not yet happening. So if we want to do reported speech, then we can say he said that they would go to resort tomorrow. Okay, so here it becomes now they would go to resort tomorrow for our reported speech. From will, it becomes would now for our reported speech. And next one, the last one here. We used conditional continuous in the reported speech when the verb in the direct speech is expressed in future continuous form. So here, when we say conditional continuous, we use the pattern would be ing. Yeah, we set one as conditional continuous because maybe this action would be happening in the past for a long time or for a specific period. So we set one as conditional continuous. Okay, remember this action is not yet happening, but you're thinking that it will happen for a specific time period in the future. And also we have when we say future continuous here in our example, so it means that the action is also happening in the future for a long period of time. And remember, for conditional continuous, we use would be ing, and for future continuous, we use will be verb ing. Example sentence for the speech, we have I will be using the car next Friday. So this one, maybe there's a long duration in the future, then it expresses in future continuous, right? Because maybe when the person's using the car, it takes a long time, so there's a duration or time. So we use future continuous of the verb. Now, if you want to express this into reported speech, we can say she said that she would be using the car next Friday. So here, if you want to change the future continuous, now we can make it into from will it becomes would be ing in our sentence. So would be ing for conditional continuous, and for direct speech, we will be, another example again, we will be having dinner at 9 p.m. So for reported speech, Maria told me that we would be having dinner at 9 p.m. So as you notice, there's a change from will into would, but somehow the be verb ing remains the same in the reported speech from direct speech. Okay, I believe that's all for my topic about that verb tenses in a reported clause, and I hope you have learned something a lot in my lesson. And if you have any questions, opinions, reactions, or anything about these lessons, kindly comment down below because I will try to address your concern. And anyway, my name is Darrell. Once again, nice having you, and next time we'll have a new lesson about grammar. So that's all for today, guys. Thank you so much, and see you again next time. Goodbye.